All right, what's up?
How you doing?
Good.
David Moore, Dallas Morning News. How do you feel that you responded coming off the opener with the game plan, and just how the players responded as far as their execution of what you wanted to do in the second game?
I thought our guys handled it really, really well. Obviously, no one wants to have performances in games like our first game, and obviously, I thought our guys just kind of stayed steady and kept going through the process. And I thought guys had a good week in practice. We got younger guys who are going to take strides each and every week, each and every day during practice and games. And so I thought our guys did a nice job of just kind of going through the process and continuing to improve, and got a little bit better.
And do you, after a game that doesn't unfold the way you anticipate, what is your process when you go back? I mean, I know you're self-critical, but is there any different approach going into the next week, or do you just have to identify what didn't work and go from there?
Yeah, certainly got to identify what didn't work. A week has a fairly regular routine to it, and so I think you certainly stick with that. But anytime a game goes like that, obviously you're going to chew on some more negative things that go through that process.
Michael Galpin, Dallas Morning News. Some were multiple tight end personnel groupings. What was the thinking behind going with that approach, and how do you feel it was effective?
Yeah, every game plan has kind of got its different approach, and felt good about some 12 personnel. We're playing with Jake and Schultz on the field at the same time, and thought they did a nice job. Early with the run game in 12, I thought was fairly effective. Just efficient stuff on first and second down. We were able to get some stuff off of it in the passing game, and then still brought in some of the spread out stuff with 11 and Tony and Zeke on the field a few times together, and so that's kind of one of those. Each week's going to have different trends, and we felt pretty good about 12 this week.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You might not have Schultz this week, so what's your confidence level in Hendershot and Ferguson?
They've gotten a ton of reps all off season, and so feel great about them. Really do.
Jordan. Go ahead, Kyle.
Yeah.
Ferguson, is he more? Look like he's got a little yak in him a little bit when we saw in the preseason. Let's talk about that in some ways.
I really think both of them play really complementary to each other. I think they've come in, they've played so many reps together. Jake does a great job in the run game, but he's got some pass game stuff. Peyton, obviously, everyone knows the pass game aspect of it, but he goes in there and 1 yard on the goal line, he had a nice block. This past game we threw a run play in there, and it was good.
Kellen Moore, Yahoo Sports. When you have a change in quarterback like Cooper and someone who's worked a lot with a guy like Noah, do you expect there to be more of an emphasis in his game, and what does it say about each of those guys, how well it worked?
Coop, I think he's just going to go through the process, and whatever happens, and he's going to handle it really well. He's going to go through his progressions, trust it. Noah is one of those awesome stories. Sixth year, gets his first touchdown. It's hard for anyone who's been around this thing for a while, around the Cowboys, to think that that's his first touchdown. And great example, just going through the process. He found his roles early in his career, and he keeps going. And obviously, he's gotten into a situation. Last year he got a few more pass game opportunities, and this year he certainly got a lot more. And he's taking advantage of them. It's been awesome.
I think CD said he congratulated him like 50 times yesterday. I mean, what was the emotion on the sideline after he scored that touchdown? And what was your first thought? Yeah,
I think everyone was just really, really excited. I mean, Noah's one of those guys everyone roots for, and I think the coolest thing was that Zeke was the one chasing to go and find the football. That was like the most important aspect. We scored, and Robert Prince, our receiver coach, was yelling in the headset, "Someone get that ball!" And you just see Zeke dashing across the field, and that's a cool example of just what a team atmosphere it is.
Glatzel for Star Telegram. What does the 4th and 2 do for you on the opening drive? Did you have a play call ready for that, and how does that boost the play call in the offense to go for that moment?
Yeah, we went into that. Mike said, plan on having a 4th down behind this thing, and so we called 3rd down with an opportunity, knowing we can get to 4th down, and quickly kind of tried to get on the ball and surprise them a little bit, in the sense that they were probably anticipating the transition into punt on an incomplete, and so we just tried to get on the ball as quickly as possible, call a play, and Coop did a good job just executing.
Great.
Babe Loeffler, Dallas Cowboys Radio Network. Obviously, you're not going to score every possession, but you've seen a million games where teams start out and you guys had 2 75-yard drives for touchdowns, and then there was a little lull.
Mm-hmm.
How do you offset that? How do you see that coming, or what do you do as a play caller to try to get the team back on track again?
Yeah, I think it's always one of those. We found a nice little start there. The first couple drives, we did a nice job. Obviously, there's going to be adjustments in games. They're not going to give you, you can't just keep doing the same thing. They're going to make their adjustments, and so you're kind of navigating that aspect of it. We had the unfortunate turnover in the third, and just find an opportunity to sustain a few of those drives. It really came down to some third downs in the second half. First half it was pretty manageable. The second half just missed some opportunities there. Had those 2 drives right before the last one, where it was a 4-play drive. Yeah, the first play was really good. The run by, I believe it was Tony, and then we had the pass and CD, but then we went 3 and out essentially after those. And so guys hung in there. It was good.
Kellen Todd Archer of the ESPN. On Pollard's touchdown, because he got so close there, did you want to reward him and keep him in, or did Zeke say,
Absolutely.
hey, no, give it to him? How's that work?
No, everyone wanted to get TP that touchdown.
Is that a conversation that's had, or like, you stay in there, we're not staying this?
Yeah, we're putting TP in the game. He needs to get that touchdown. Yeah, it was awesome.
Kellen, Rob Phillips, DallasCowboys.com. Just follow up on Noah. You started with him as a teammate, now as a coaching him. Where has he grown in your mind? Is it just opportunities, or he seems leaner this year? Is it more just, hey, he's got more chances at this, or where has he grown as a receiver?
Certainly say he's adjusted his body. He came into the league as a larger body that did a tremendous job in the run game for us. He had his role. He did all the special team stuff, and he kind of find a couple pass opportunities here and there as kind of the change up. And as the years have gone, he's become a little bit more of the pass game, and really starting last year and then transitioning fully into this year. He's just a normal every down receiver. He's not in a role. He's not a package guy. He's playing receiver, and you can just see in the contested catch opportunities where Coop threw a couple to him this past day. Throw contested catches at him, give him opportunities. He's making plays with it, which is really cool to see.
How do you feel Terrence Steele did in his game? Seemed pretty clean on the
Responded
right side.
really, really well. Obviously, we're really clean pre-snap, which is huge. I think that gives Terrence that confidence to just keep going. And anytime him and Zach are in the run game combinations, I think he does a really good job. And I thought he did a really nice job. We don't really think about him a whole lot. I think sometimes it's the play color. That's a good thing.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. You and Cooper shared a little hug, and he actually smiled there after the field goal was good.
That's the excitement of Coop.
He's stoic with us. You're kind of that way. Was that how you were as a quarterback in college? Can you relate to him in the way that he's sort of that low blood pressure kind of guy?
Potentially. We've been around each other for a while, and so Coop does a great job. I think that's the best thing is you can get frustrated in some of those second half drives. You have the turnover, and then you have 2 drives that kind of go 4 plays, and then it's easy to get frustrated there. And I thought, you can just see it. He had a little smirk as we went out on the 2-minute drive, and you can just tell he was going to keep being Coop.
We haven't really discussed in the last couple of weeks your experience as backup quarterback and how that helps prepare Cooper for a situation like this. How much of your experience do you draw upon? And I know generally you understand his position, but anything in specific that you can think of that helped?
I think it's a great question. I think fortunately for me, I've been around Coop for a long time. He knows the system really well. I think there's 2 different circumstances. Sometimes when you have a backup, you have a guy who knows the system really well, and you can kind of lean on that he's got a lot of reps invested versus guys who maybe come in and a couple weeks later they're playing. Those guys, you really got to figure out, okay, what are you most comfortable with? And so for us, I think the fortunate situation is when you have Coop, you just kind of trust it, and you find the things that they're most comfortable with still at the end of the day. He does a great job of just trusting progressions, trusting plays, reading things out, executing, and I think he does a great job in the protection game as far as all his communication. I think those are his superpowers. Everyone does. He may not wow you with the physical, but how he just handles the game is really special.
What were your superpowers as backup?
I don't know. I hung on just barely for a while, so I think fortunately for Coop, maybe we played similar styles at times. Just aren't going to wow you with the the running or some powerful Matthew Stafford throw downfield, but you're going to be able to manage an offense.
You got a rookie left tackle. You've seen him for 2 weeks now. Just your thoughts on how he's been going.
I love him. I think he's going to be awesome. And anytime you have a younger guy, there's going to be moments where, you're going to learn a couple things on the fly, as far as just maybe a game gets you or something like that, some sort of protection thing. But he's been really solid out there. I mean, he had a tough matchup in that game, and I thought he handled himself really, really well. Love his play style. Love how he just comes out off the ball. You know, if anything, a couple times where they maybe play with some movement and kind of get him that way, but you'd rather be correcting that than, you know, the play style. I mean, he's coming off the ball, and it's awesome.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio. Kellen, obviously want to be better than 3 out of 10 on third down. You finding anything in the 2 games, now that you have a little bigger sample size, that's a common denominator that makes you say, okay, here's what we got to do on third down better?
Yeah, we're going through the process. I think the biggest thing is, you know, those third manageables are the ones you got to get right. The 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the ones that, you know, stats will tell you are, you know, offenses should be able to get those ones, and you know, it kind of flips on them as you get a little bit further for the defense. Their odds are going to be a little bit better, and so we just got to be really clean up there. We got to execute those. You know, the long ones we got to manage and be smart in those situations. And you know, we've been fortunate. I think we've stolen a few in those long yardage situations, and I think that's the way the odds will tell you got to play those out. But we just got to do a better job, you know, in those 2 to 5 range where, you know, you got opportunities, one-on-one matchups. You got to find matchups and take advantage of them.
How do you decide Luke Gifford as fullback? Like, what went into the process of picking him and how do you think it worked?
I don't even want to get involved in this. No, Luke's awesome. We've actually talked about it last year, but you know, last year we kind of had the offensive lineman play it, and Luke has kind of been aware of it for a little while, and so you know, based off defensive, you know, game plans and whatnot, we felt like, hey, we can steal Luke for a couple plays. He went in there full steam and probably earned himself a couple more. So now, obviously, all the other guys want him too. So.
I mean, are you, Dan and John, playing rock, paper, scissors, who gets them for snaps, or?
We're just stealing them on a few. We'll see. We might get them a few more as we go. We never know. We sometimes play around with personnel, but you know, Micah, Leighton, all those guys, they all want them now too. So.
With Michael Gallup being close,
Yeah.
what's the feeling when he gets ready, and how quickly can he be Michael Gallup?
Obviously, really excited about the opportunity to have Michael whenever that time comes. It's been so cool just to watch him go through this process of, you know, coming back and seeing where he was, you know, OTAs to training camp, him and Britt working, and then as he's kind of phased into practices, it's been really cool to see. And you know, when he gets in there, we'll figure out where his role is as far as, you know, numbers and opportunities and all that sort of stuff, and we'll build him up as we go.
What element does he bring to the pass game that he may be lacking now?
Obviously, Michael's done a tremendous job for his whole career, just winning one-on-one matchups as a single receiver, and you know, his size, catch radius, frame, those are the things that separate him, you know, from a lot of guys.
Okay, back to the fullback. Between Antoine Woods and Connor McGovern and Lyle and now Luke, what do you look for in terms of determining who's going to be your situational guy? And what's the culture like of guys wanting to be that choice?
Yeah, certainly it's a play style mentality type role. There's nothing really, you know, fancy about it. It's usually there's a linebacker on the other side and you're going to go one-on-one. And so sometimes it's giving a guy like LC where he wasn't starting that week, hey, let's get him in the fullback role. It gives him a role in a package, and we feel really good about him. Other times we may not have a fullback or something on our roster currently, and so you may look to an Antoine Woods or a you know, a GIF, you know, one of those guys who maybe their reps aren't as high on defense, and so you can steal them for a few reps.
Cooper was undrafted in 2017. Noah was a 7th round pick the same year. You were an undrafted guy. Is there what kind of special bond develops, if any, with guys that are kind of on the fringe of the roster as they sort of work behind the scenes through all those years?
Certainly those type of guys, Coop, Noah, you know, they've spent a lot of time together. You know, they're probably scout team receivers, quarterbacks together for a number of years. Noah would hop in a little bit, you know, as a rotational guy, but they've certainly thrown it a lot together. They've built a trust and anticipation over those years, and you know, all those guys who work their tail off, you root for those guys. It's really easy to root for Coop and Noah and all these guys, and as they go through their journey in the NFL.
Between Noah's big game and the imminent return of Michael, what do you think this does for CD in terms of being able to better keep defenses honest?
Certainly, the more options you have, the better. And you know, I think it really probably from a defense side, it comes down to evidence. Obviously, guys got to show that they're taking advantage of opportunities. Noah's done it. MG's obviously done it throughout his career, and we got other younger guys that are just going to keep growing and growing each and every week. And so when you got multiple threats out there, that certainly helps you. And forces defense to acknowledge and respect other guys, and that'll only benefit CD as the season progresses.
That it? Good.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, thanks, guys.